it's Crafty Hope here, and welcome to hashtag Seek, Gather, Create Week 3. This week for the mixed media scavenger hunt, we are to use some tissue paper, and I've just got some plain white tissue paper. I'm going to alter it, so hold on to your hats. We're going to get to that. Something soft, and I wavered on that and decided on this cotton ribbon from Paper Cats. I'll have a link to her Etsy shop below. We needed a butterfly, so I grabbed these two Tim Holtz butterflies from the Botanicals collection, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this one with the blue on it, and then something blue. And I grabbed this little container of blue buttons and thought, hey, I do love me some buttons, and they will match that blue butterfly. So we're going to start with the tissue paper first. I tore it down into like 4 pieces, and I'm just going to use 2 of them. On this first one, I've taken just some black acrylic craft paint and some stencils, and I've got what do you call that? A cosmetic sponge, and I am just going to alter this tissue paper. I'm going to cut some of this out. Y'all don't need to see me alter this. It's the same process. This challenge is from, who is it from? It's from Lisa Goddard Art, Tina Hoyce, Jana Clinard Harris, and oh my gosh, Laura Dennison. Those 4 artists are the hosts for this challenge and come up with the 4 things we need for the 4 weeks of this Seek, Gather, Create challenge. And I want to thank them for that because I love this so much. This week is my favorite week. I really, really love what I've made for this week, and I hope y'all do too. So I'm sorry this is kind of a long video. I cut out as much as I could, I promise. But I still want to take you on this ride with me. All right, so this other piece of tissue paper, I just have some archival ink in sepia and some, what are those things? Stamps. So I'm going to use this Tim Holtz stamp from, I think it's the Tiny Toadstools stamp collection. And then I've got one of my hand carved stamps that works out really, really nicely on this. All right, from there, my substrate for this is going to be this little square piece of wood from the Dollar Tree. I think it comes in a pack of 5 or 6 of these squares. I don't know what the wood is, what they're intended for, but I really like to alter them. But the edges tend to be a little rough, so I'm just using a sanding block and sanding it down a little to make sure I don't get any splinters and that it's nice and smooth. So I've sped this sanding portion up quite a bit because that's boring. All right, and for some reason I decided even though I knew I was probably going to cover the whole thing up, I wanted the front, back, and the edges to be really nicely finished. So I am using this antiquing wax. I will try to have a link to it below if I can. I think I picked this up at Walmart, and I can't even think of the brand. I think it's Folk Art maybe, but I don't know. I don't have it in here with me. But y'all, that's all it is. You paint it on and you wipe off the excess. I'm going to do the same thing on the edges and the back. And that way it feels more finished to me because it's all around. And I was pretty sure I was going to cover up the whole front with some dictionary paper, but I wanted, just in case I changed my mind, I wanted this nice finish on there. So I'm taking my time, especially on the sides, because if this is put up, I didn't want that kind of raw wood sides to be visible. So sorry I didn't cut all this off. I think I'm going to cut this out here in just a second, maybe. Yep, there we go. So it sat and it dried for a few minutes, and now I'm coming in with my matte gel medium and a piece of dictionary paper, and I'm just going to smear my gel medium all over the front of this and then stick down my dictionary paper and smooth it out. This is a fairly sturdy piece of dictionary paper. It's not one of those thin ones, so it didn't get any air bubbles or anything in it. So it's fabulous. And y'all, I really didn't even let this dry. I'm going to go ahead and just start tearing the edges up because I was kind of excited about this. It was a good challenge. Y'all, anything blue is gonna make me happy, and they wanted me to use something blue, and I chose buttons, and that makes me even happier. So, yeah, we're all good here. All right, so I tore those edges up, but they're still not quite finished enough. So I'm gonna grab that sanding block again and just get the excess off the sides real quick. And if it goes over a little bit, peels, that's fine. Again, it's that brown, and I knew I was gonna have some brown in this. You saw the sepia stamping, you saw the whatchamacallit, the cotton ribbon that I'm using. So that is good. Now I want to cover up some of the dictionary words a little bit, so I grabbed my Deco Arts Media gesso. Y'all, this gesso was much better than this. Mine is old, old, old. One of those people that when I love something, I don't use it because I don't want to use it all up. Yeah, I am really mad at myself for not using this all up because it is goopy and gross. And after I used it, I threw it away. I'm gonna have to buy me some more. I believe you can find it on the Deco Arts site. I don't think you can get it on like Amazon anymore. So I think I need some more, at least some other kind of heavy gesso, because this was my good heavy gesso and it is now gloopy, gummy ickiness. So, but it worked for this purpose. Now, what I wanted to do was put a glaze over it. Y'all, I don't have any glazing medium. I saw Dee Dee Catron, oh gosh, y'all, it was a video from probably 4 or 5 years ago of hers where she used a glazing medium on top of some paper, just like in gesso, just like this. So I made some glazing medium from something I just happened to see that said use fluid medium and water with an acrylic paint. And I didn't even look for measurements, y'all. I just was like, I'm gonna do it. We'll see what happens. Because if I mess it up, I can start over. No big deal. So I went for it and it works fine. I'm gonna do what Dee Dee did, which is put it on and then wipe it with a baby wipe. When I wipe it with the baby wipe, it pretty much just all comes up except for on the dictionary paper. So yeah, I was like, what? Let's do that again. So yeah, I'm gonna do that again and not wipe it up again. So there's that. And I just wanted that blue tint. The paint that I used was the Americana Midnight Blue. I love that color and knew that it would be the perfect shade once it got watered down with the fluid gel medium and the water. So, and it's again, it's just a touch of blue kind of to go in the background with all the other blue elements I had going on. Now I'm coming back in with my altered tissue paper. I'm going to get a little bit of some of the dot stencil I did and some of these kind of, I don't know, I consider them petals. I guess I can consider them whatever I want since they are my hand carved stamps. So I'm just going to get a little bit of each of those and use more of that fluid gel medium to stick it down. The fluid medium works fabulous with things like tissue paper because it kind of makes the tissue paper meld into the background. Now, initially, I had grabbed a pattern paper that I had that had was a white tissue paper, but it had like gold flakes on it. And I started to do that, but then I was like, I don't know what all I'm going to do on this. I rather would just use it to add some texture. So that's why I kind of went with this. And I like that, I could have stenciled or stamped on here, but there's something about using it with the tissue paper that kind of really integrates the patterns into your substrate. I don't know what it is. It just melds it in there because you don't have some of the hard edges and things like that because you can rip it down. So that really, yeah, I love that. So I'm getting these down. I think I ended up doing 3 of each piece, just no plan, just get them on there. And I think I'm gonna try this real quick. And I'm gonna decide it didn't feel like it was melded in there enough. All of the elements I had put down felt still like separate elements. So I'm grabbing that sanding block one more time, and on the smoothest, the finest grit, I'm just gonna sando it. So I think I sped this up really fast too, because I do not sand that fast. But it worked. It did exactly what I wanted to do. Everything kind of got pushed back a little. Some of the white from the gesso got exposed, so it wasn't all the blue. It felt smooth. It was great. I'm really happy that I took this step to kind of, yeah, does it seem to you like it's more integrated now? I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it just worked. So it could have been just something in my head. All right, when I was looking for the butterflies in my stash, this lady, I've got a big folder of focals, and one of the sections is vintage photos. And this lady was just staring up at me, and I was immediately like, "Oh, she's got to go with me." So I grabbed her. She's actually like holding like a fish, like when you catch a fish and you kind of hold it up for the picture. She's holding a fish. It's tiny, y'all. You can just barely see it in the picture, but I kind of wanted her to be like flying the butterfly, like it's a kite or something like that. I don't know. It just got in my head that way, and I thought, yep, that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna use that handmade ribbon, and I'll stick my buttons just wherever. I thought I was going to do something more intense with the buttons, but no, they're going to be just right over here. So we're going to get to it. I'm going to cut down my ribbon real quick. I actually cut it too long. I'll have to cut it down again later. But I think the first thing I decide I want to do is age the background just a bit more. So I'm going to grab my container of dried up instant coffee and reconstitute it real quick. Get a paintbrush, and I'm just going to kind of paint messily on the background. It's going to get me a little more brown in there, and I don't know, there's just something about it. Just it's yummy. So I'm going to get that on there and decide that I need a touch more blue. So I will grab, and I probably should just use some more of that midnight blue, but what I instead grab is an Amsterdam acrylic ink, and it's primary cyan. I love that ink, y'all. And I'll splatter it with my trusty fan brush here in just a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I said, I really liked this page, this piece, and I got to tell you all about it. So there, I'm just going to grab that fan brush and quickly splatter some more blue on there. I'm kind of keeping with this just blue and brown and black palette. It really worked for me. It tends to be some of my favorite things. And I'm going to frame up the edges of this. I'm using a Colorix crayon. It's kind of just like a distress crayon or what are those things? Gelato. And I just rub that along the edge, and I'm going to use my finger just to kind of blend it in a little bit. And I'm going to do my best not to get that wet because it will activate, but if I leave it to dry long enough, it'll be all right. So there's that. Now it's time to start sticking everything down. So out comes that trusty matte gel medium. Actually, first I'm going to go ahead and trim down that little bit of that cotton ribbon because it's just too long. Yeah, just like that. And now I'm going to pull out the matte gel medium and start sticking down. I'm going to stick my picture down first and then use the matte gel medium to stick down my ribbon and my butterfly. Now let me tell you a little bit more about the Seek, Gather, Create challenge. Um, they did it once last year. This is the second time they've done it. So this is I don't know if they're counting it as winter or spring. I'm hoping they'll do it again. Um, maybe not each season, but every once in a while it's fun. They only do it for 4 weeks, and like I said, this is the end of week 3. So week 4 should be announced on, oh y'all, on my calendar. I don't know what the days are. Week 4 should be announced on the 20th of February. So it's on Sundays they announce. If you'll go to one of their Instagram pages, you'll see the list of the 4 things for you to seek, gather, and create, and you can play along. And of course, they also still have the list up for weeks 1, 2, and 3 if you just want to use them as inspiration. So I encourage you to do that. I think it's fun to get to play along and see how everybody else takes these prompts and incorporates them into their art. All right, so I've got some tacky glue and I'm gluing my buttons down. Y'all, these buttons are coming back up. I forgot I wanted to do something with them. So I'm glad I didn't use anything that more permanent than the tacky glue. But I did go look at my small talk stickers, and this was exactly the quote I wanted to find, and I found it. And it says, "Hold on tight to your dreams," which, yeah, is perfect because she is holding on tight to that butterfly. Um, it just, yeah, it worked for me. It's corny. I love it. Love it. And I'm going to go around my sentiment and my butterfly with my Stabilo. And before I activated, it hit me right there. I was like, oh my gosh, no, I wanted to do something with those buttons. Quick, pull them up. So I'm going to pull them up and rub off the tacky glue real quick, trying to get it out of the holes because what I want to do is take this brown embroidered floss and just kind of do like a fake tie on it. You'll see, I'm going to go in through the front of one button and then, yes, I start the wrong way. I'm going to go in through the front and then in through the back and then make, yeah, I'm having trouble here. It's going to get a little wonky. And I'm just going to make a knot, a double knot actually, and then I'll trim and fray the edges and stick the buttons back down. I'm not going to show you me doing all three buttons because it's just the exact same thing. So I tied that double knot. I'm going to look at it. It's too long, trim it down and fray those down. Yep. And then I stuck it back down. There was still glue on there, so I just stuck those back into the glue that was still there. Now I'm going to activate the Stabilo that had put down around my sentiment and my butterfly. And then I'm going to decide I need a little bit of shadow on my ribbon. So I'll put just underneath the ribbon going from her hand up to the butterfly. I'll put a little Stabilo and activate that so there's some shadow there. And y'all, that's it. I love, love, love. I love this little piece of art, and I want to thank the hosts for giving us this challenge once again. It was a whole lot of fun. If you have any questions about any of this, don't hesitate to ask it below, and make sure you give me a thumbs up if you like this, and make sure to subscribe. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming by and watching. Bye.